All right, so we're going to talk about today why most roofing companies get trash leads. If you don't know me, my name is Raphael. I co-own RoofMaxers. We're a consulting agency that partners with roofing companies, helping them scale and acquire a predictable acquisition system all over the country. So essentially, I wanted to make this quick video kind of going over the three main mistakes, the three main, genres that I see most roofing companies commonly fall into, and why they end up getting trash leads. And then, of course, we'll go into what to do instead. So, number one, why most roofing companies get trash leads. As you can see here, I did some quick research on this, and the roofing industry is worth almost $100 billion, guys. So, $97.9 billion is the approximate size of the roofing industry in 2026. And basically, in that, you have around 102,000 roofing companies competing for the same jobs. And then from there, you have 82% of roofing businesses that are now saying that digital marketing is what's essential for them to actually scale, but most still don't have a real system. So here are the three main mistakes that I see most roofing companies make. Number one, you have the classic trap, right? Referrals, door knocking, and storms. Number two, paying a bad agency, getting stuck with a retainer and a contract that's not bringing any results. And then number three, trying to do things yourself, trying to be a roofer and a marketer at the same time, which that never ends well. So let's get into scenario one here. Okay, referrals, door knocking, waiting for storms. All right. So this is actually the lead strategy that 73% of roofing companies were using in 2024. And so the thing about referrals is that obviously you're never going to get a better lead than a referral, of course. But the only problem is that you can't generate referrals, right? I mean, obviously you can just do more work and then hope that people will give you more referrals, but there's not really a real direct response way for you to generate more referrals. So it's really unscalable. If you're trying to grow your business purely on referrals, it's not really a good way to scale because there's no predictable acquisition and you don't really know when the next referral will come in. So as you can see here, like I did some research on this once more, and the average time before a referral pipeline dries up with new clients is around 18 months, right? So maybe you're good for, a year, a little bit over a year, right? But after that, then you don't have any more referrals to go to. You're kind of in a slow season, as a lot of roofers I speak to call it. And obviously, you have $0 for marketing, but that's only until sorry, you only have to spend $0. You spend $0 on marketing to get all these referrals, but then the pipeline dries up and it's panic time, right? So referrals run out, door knocking, that's pretty good. But the thing is that I did some research on this as well, and door knocking hits 2 to 4% contact rates. So basically, you need to knock 50 to 100 doors to book a single appointment. Obviously, depending on the size of the team and how good you guys are, right? And so that's basically like a full day of labor per lead. Now, obviously, you could have some companies that are better at door knocking and they might see higher rates, but you can see that really door knocking isn't scalable either because you're still having to have someone go out there and do manual labor to knock these doors. And then, of course, storm chasing, it's feast or famine. Completely, it's probably the most unpredictable one of all. You're just waiting for the next storm to come in. Really unscalable. And so, with all of these, the point being is that you have zero control over when your next lead or when your next appointments are coming in. So your revenue is dictated by the weather or your customer social circles, not by you. All right. And then here you can see here a roofing company doing $1 million a year on referrals alone leaves an estimated $300 to $600,000 on the table annually. Leads that went to a competitor who showed up first. Okay. So now we're going to get into the scenario B. All right. So this is you hire a marketing agency and then they take your money. Right. So this is the fastest way to spend $3,000 a month and have nothing to show for it. So this is where you fall for a scam marketing agency. They don't know what they're doing. They have a horrible offer, and you made the mistake of actually going with them before doing some good research, making sure that they actually had good, solid case studies, and making sure that they were a legit company. And now you get stuck to a contract for multiple quarters where you have to pay this marketing agency for results that are not even there, and it's really, really unfortunate. I hear horror stories all the day from roofers telling me about how they've been screwed over by these marketing agencies. And so here are some quick stats on that. 63% of SMBs report their first marketing agency produced no measurable ROI. And $2,000 to $5,000 average monthly retainer charged by generalist agencies to roofing companies. So that's like the average price that you'd be paying to, charge one of these roofing agencies to hopefully get you results. And then here you go, 4.7 month average time before a roofing company fires their first marketing agency, right? So you're in a contract for, let's say, at least 5 months, or you're just hoping things will work, but it never actually works out, right? So here are not to say that, not to say that working with an agency will never work, but a lot of people unfortunately make the mistake of not doing the right research, not making sure that they choose the right partner. And that is why, unfortunately, they either lose a lot of money and get tied into a contract with no results, or they just have to try and fire them as soon as they can. And this really comes down to like this person that you choose, they don't know your industry, they don't have clear testimonials, they own your leads, right? And so they can even screw you over. Right? I've seen this happen before where it's like if they build the ad account for you, they're doing everything externally, right? So they build you the ad account, they'll run the ads, but then if you part ways with them, they're not your partner. They're just trying to get you leads quick. So it's not really scalable either. Whereas obviously at my company, we actually partner with you and build out your own inbound appointment generating system so that you can use it within your own company, even if we do decide to part ways. And then, of course, the lead quality overall is unfortunately just garbage with a lot of these companies. They don't have systems in place to actually call the leads. They don't have, different teams and different AI automations set up to make sure that you're not wasting money on leads that come in the door. And they're really just telling you a lot of vanity metrics. They're going to send you all these reports every month about, hey, this is how much we generated you in clicks and stuff. But who cares about clicks, right? I want to know about actual signed jobs, contracted jobs, money on the table. So here we can see a quick assessment of all of this. The average roofing company loses 180, or sorry, no, $18,000 to $35,000 across 6 to 9 months before cutting ties with a bad agency. That's like an entire crew member's salary just disappeared, right? Now, of course, here we have scenario C, DIY ads. So this is where you run your own ads, but you don't really have a system to follow. You don't really know what you're doing. You have good intentions, of course. Like it's good to bring it in house, but you don't really know what you're doing, right? You're good at obviously marketing, but in terms of you're good at roofing, but in terms of marketing, that's a whole other ballgame. So here you can see 91% of first-time home service advertisers on Meta actually lose money in their first 90 days. These are all real metrics, by the way. I researched this before. And then the average cost per lead is $185 for roofing when you try and do it yourself. Or sorry, for Google Ads specifically. Obviously, Meta would be slightly lower. And then, of course, it takes 6 to 8 hours per week lost by owner operators trying to manage the campaigns themselves, right? So here you can see, like, this is what happens when you try and do it by yourself. Cost per lead is, 120 to 185. Whereas when you have an actual dialed system that's used by a company that actually knows what they're doing, they've done it with a lot of people. You can see that the cost per lead goes down to, 28 to $55. The lead to appointment booking rate is much higher. Everything is much better. And the bottom line is that running ads without a system is like sending crews to do jobs with no estimate. You're losing money, and you have no idea if you're making any back. So now let's pivot here. Let's pivot into the solution. Like, what is the actual solution to this problem? To build your own inbound appointment booking system, right? Now, you want to stop chasing leads, stop paying agencies to own your pipeline. The answer is Meta ads, Facebook, and Instagram, but only when built properly as a full AI system by someone who knows how to do it right. Okay. So, done right, it's the highest ROI paid channel for roofing in 2026, right? You're generating exclusive leads that only go to you at a fraction of what, Google ads or something else might cost, right? Okay, now the keyword here is property, though. Like I said, you need to make sure that you're doing this with a proper system in place. All right. So, step number one to set this up, you need to make sure that your Facebook and Instagram pages look legit. Okay. So, you want to make sure that you have a professional logo, you have a completed business profiles on both accounts, minimum of at least 9 to 12 posts. You want to make sure you have some reviews and social proof on your pages, and of course, you want to make sure you have a meta business suite set up with an ad account verified. Right. So, very basic things, but unfortunately, a lot of roofers skip out on this, and it actually just makes your ads convert worse because people go and they look at your profile and they see like, oh, he has like one post from yesterday, and then he's just started to run ads, and so it really hurts your reputation. And so definitely you want to make sure that you work on that before you start running the ads. Second step to set up this inbound appointment system is you want to make sure that you have winning creative. So first step to do that is to spy on what's winning. So you can use AI to make killer creatives. So before you even write a single word of ad copy, research was already working in your market. Meta's ad library, you can go to the Meta ad library, literally spy on all of your roofing competition. You can generate the ads with AI really fast, direct response, and then boom, $50 a day, minimum budget, giving Meta enough, giving Meta enough data and enough money to actually work with. And then from here, you can expect around 23 to 36 leads per month. $41 to $65 cost per lead. Obviously, we can get much lower than that ourselves, but that's what you might be able to expect on average. And then, of course, average roofing job, let's say 9 to 14K residential, right? So, right off the gate, if you can even close one job, that's already a 6 to 9x return in your entire month of ad spend, right? So the ROI is definitely here. Now, after you've set that up, you have, your good pages are ready to go. You have the AI, you've made your ads. Now you need to have a high friction landing page that qualifies every single lead. And so you don't want to send ad traffic to your like website homepage. You don't want to use Meta's built-in lead forms. What you want to do is send them to a dedicated landing page with a multi-step survey that collects everything that you need before your team picks up the phone, right? So you're going to filter out the tire kickers, filter out people who are just price shopping, And from here, you're going to get 2 to 3x higher lead quality from these surveys than if you were doing the lead forms, for example. And 40% of Meta's lead form submissions are invalid anyway, wrong numbers, fake names, no intent. So you don't even want to do this. Now, obviously, this is why it works because you can filter intent, you can make sure that your team shows up to only people who are prepared, and you are building perceived value. Okay. So these are like some examples of what you could actually put on the page. Like these questions would be really good, for example, to actually ask your potential leads. And then, of course, the survey is your pre-qualification call. By the time your team dials and reaches out, they already know exactly all the information of the prospect and exactly what they are looking to get done. All right. So now what you need to do after all of this is set up is you need to have an automated system that will go to work the second that you actually get a lead come in from your advertisements. So the second they get in, speed to lead is very important. You need to have somebody at the company calling them right away, or you can get a call center, right? You want to call them right away. Okay. The second that somebody comes in, you need to be on their butt calling them. So you need to text them, you need to email them, you need to call them, you need to have all of these automated systems set up. Now, 78% of all jobs go to the first contractor who makes contact with the lead, and you have a 21x higher contact rate when leads are followed up within 5 minutes versus 30 minutes. Okay, so you want to hit these guys fast. You want to have a confirmation text firing automatically, lead routes to an inspection coordinator who calls them immediately. You have automated follow up sequences if they don't pick up the phone or answer the text. You have reminders, you have appointment confirmation requests, everything. This system needs to run 24/7 without you touching it. Okay. Now, for example, a lead comes in at 11 p.m. on a Sunday. They get a text within seconds, a calendar link. Obviously, I mean, 11 p.m. We probably wouldn't text it that late, but you get the idea. No matter when they're coming in, no matter what's going on, you need to be hitting them back as soon as possible. Okay. So let's go a little bit deeper into the inspection coordinator. So what is that exactly? Well, you're going to have a team of people specifically at the company, or maybe you can even do it offshore, that will call these people the second that they book in. Okay. And this is extremely important. I cannot highlight this enough. You need to have somebody calling these leads the second they come in. You're going to see a 391% higher conversion rate. You're going to see which is basically going to be 6 times more attempts needed on average before a lead picks up, because most roofers call once and give up, right? Which means like most roofers are going to call them once and then just forget about it. But these people are going to be calling every single day until they pick up the phone. And as the data shows, it takes sometimes even up to 6 times before they pick up, right? And so obviously we don't want you to be doing that. We want your team to be doing that for you. Okay. And so, there's like some scripts that they could do. They're also going to qualify them on the call. And like I said, this is the most expensive mistake in the roofing lead gen space. You need to have somebody or a team calling your leads the second that they come in, right? And of course, even all leads that go to you that are still worth the money, you need to make sure that you're calling them as well. And you need to make sure that you're following up with them, you're managing them in a pipeline, and everything is in order, right? So to summarize, this is kind of what most people make. Well, these are the common mistakes that most roofers unfortunately fall into, which is why they get a lot of trash leads. Number one, referrals, door knocking, and storms, paying a bad agency, or trying to do it yourself. So obviously, the solution is to set up an inbound system, but obviously, like we talked about earlier, it's really hard to do a lot of this yourself, and unfortunately, it's not that good to set up. It's not that easy to set up, and that's why a lot of people struggle to even though this is the right way to set things up, is having your own inbound system. Doing it yourself still is a mistake, right? So of course, like I give free value here. You could go through, you could follow all these steps. You could build the friction landing page. You could use AI to make killer creatives. You could make sure your pages look good. You could build a team to call people the second they come in, and I'm sure you would do great. Like I promise you, you'd get leads. But like I said, if you want somebody who's already done this for countless other roofers in your exact same industry, and they know how it works, they've like I said, implemented it many times for other companies, implemented it successfully as well, and have solid case studies and proof to back it up, and are a reputable company with a good Trustpilot page. They're not going to obviously we've never scammed anyone, and so if you want somebody like that to actually partner with you, not work with you, not send you random leads like a lead vendor, but actually partner with you, if you want somebody like that for your company, then of course we would love to actually discuss with you further what fits our companies could be to work together, and whether or not a partnership would even make sense. So if you're interested in that, obviously just click the link below. You can speak directly with me. I'd love to get on a call with you and actually talk about exactly how we can help you scale your company. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you guys want to see anything specific, just leave a comment down below. I'll be sure to touch on it. And like I said, you don't obviously have to reach out to us, or you don't have to reach out to anyone. You can go and figure this out yourself. I give all the steps for free here. Like this is the exact same steps that I use at my company to obviously give amazing results to all of our partners. So feel free to go in here and build this whole system out yourself. But like I said, if you want someone to do it for you, then just click the link below, and I'll talk to you guys later.